guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Today is just kind of like a random spur of the moment fun video. My friend Bookish Boricua over on Instagram came up with this idea and suggested that I take it and make a video with it, and I was like, that sounds awesome. So here's what we're doing. We're creating a collection based around our favorite fall/Halloween movie, and I did something kind of like this a while ago. I think it was for a Topic Tuesday where I created my own collection, but there really wasn't a topic or theme that you could spring from. You just kind of made up your own. But this time we're basing it off of a movie that is just like kind of maybe our fall go-to or something like that. I found that having a source inspiration made this a lot easier to pick polishes, but I don't know if my collection looks as cohesive as the last one, but it was still a lot of fun. So the three general rules were: pick your favorite Halloween or fall movie, create a 6-piece collection similar to how Orly does for their seasons. I did 8 because I couldn't stop. Sorry. And she said you can explore the themes of the movie in color. You can use the movie cover or posters to pick the colors or base them off of a particular character. And that's the route that I went. I picked 8 characters from my favorite mini-series for fall or Halloween or whatever. And I picked a polish based off of each one of them. And the series that I ended up picking was Over the Garden Wall. This came out when I was in college, and I remember watching it and instantly being like, this is my favorite thing ever to have come out of modern cartoons. And I have watched it every single year since. I love it. My little sister does the same thing, watches it every single year. I force my boyfriend to watch it. I've already watched it once this year. Don't tell my boyfriend because we're going to watch it again later, and I don't want him to know that I've already watched it. I hope that even if you haven't seen Over the Garden Wall, you can enjoy my little collection. But if you haven't seen it, I urge you to go watch it because it is it's like a modern take on a classical era cartoon. And it's got some of the greatest voice actors in it. It's got Elijah Wood, who was Frodo. Christopher Lloyd, the dude from Back to the Future, is in it. It's even got John Cleese in it, which he's from Monty Python and a ton of stuff, but his voice is so recognizable. And I think it's on HBO Max. Yeah, it's on HBO Max. So if you have it, watch it. If you don't have HBO Max, sign up for the free trial, go watch it because it is so good. So let's go character by character, and I will tell you about the polish that I picked for them. So first of all, one of the main characters, Wirt, he's the older brother. I picked Orly's Can You Dig It? I gotta start holding these on this side because I always put the swatch photo over here and then I'm covering it up. I don't know. But yeah, Orly's Can You Dig It? This is a dusty red polish, and I chose this because I didn't want anything too flashy for Wirt because Wirt is kind of a simple, kind of shy, I don't want to say plain in a mean way, but he's just a plain guy. He's not a flashy, over-the-top kind of dude, and I decided to pick based off of the color of his hat, which was kind of like a red cone hat, and so that was why I went with Orly's Can You Dig It? Because it's just the perfect, muted red. And the name that I would choose for this color would be The Pilgrim, because there's an episode where he's in a tavern and they're trying to, all these people in the tavern are trying to assign tropes to people, and they settled on The Pilgrim for Wirt. So I would call this one The Pilgrim. Next we have Wirt's little half-brother, Greg, and he is the exact opposite of Wirt. He's really obnoxious, really over the top, reminds me a lot of my little sister, and honestly I feel like Wirt reminds me of myself, so it's the perfect little duo. And for Greg, I chose Holo Taco's Everything Taco because Greg is just so vibrant and colorful and full of life, and he's so funny. He's cute and adorable, and he's creative, and I just really wanted something that was really evocative of, I don't know, that childlike sense of wonder, that childish mind where everything is, you can find a positive spin on it, and that to me was Everything Taco. And I decided to name this one Candy Pants because in the first episode, he was flinging candy from his pants and leaving a trail behind him, just this colorful, super colorful candy trail, and singing Candy Pants, and I feel like that's perfect for him. The next character I chose was Beatrice, and she is a bluebird. And the polish I chose is just a little bit too on the nose, and I'm sorry, but the first thing I thought of when I thought of Beatrice was Bluebird Lacquer. And then I was like, well, I got to do a blue from Bluebird Lacquer. So I chose I'm So Over Jordan Catalano. And I chose a more like fun, kind of sparkly color for her because at the beginning of the series, you're kind of like wary of her and you can tell and you do know she's kind of up to some shady stuff in regards to the two young boys and like leading them astray in the forest. And I don't want to spoil it in case you guys haven't seen it, but you know, she does have her redemption and she does kind of show herself as the shining hero in the end. And so I felt like this was perfect for her. And it's just like a blue bluebird lacquer for a bluebird, of course. And I would call this Bluebird Rules because she pretends to be rescued by them and then she says that, oh, like I have to follow you guys and I have to like help you out. That's Bluebird Rules. So that's why I chose that name. Okay, the fourth character I chose is of course the frog. This is Greg's frog, and I'm not like saying his name because he has many names. Throughout the entire 10 episode series, Greg is trying on names for his frog. He's really trying to pick like the perfect name for the frog that he caught with his brother. And at one point he settles on George Washington and then starts referring to him as Mr. President. And they're on a boat with all these other frogs. It's a long story, but all the other frogs are dressed up super nicely. And Greg is really concerned that his frog is naked. And he's like, the president is nude, which is why I decided to call this polish The President is Nude. And for that color, I have chosen Orly's Elysian Fields, because what better frog nude than this? Frog nude. Did you ever think you'd ever hear those words uttered together in a sentence? But yeah, by the end of the series, he does pick a name for his frog, so you'll have to watch it and find out what it is. The next polish I have is for the Woodsman, and this is actually the character that Christopher Lloyd voices. And he is an older man who's kind of wandering through this forest, and he's cutting down these edelwood trees, they're called, and grinding them up for their oil in order to keep his lantern lit. And the reason he's doing that is because his daughter's spirit is in the lantern and he's trying to keep her alive. And it's a little bit sad, a little bit morbid when you get to the end and find out like everything about what edelwood is. But it does have a happy ending, I swear. I swear to you, it's not like all sad. But because he's chopping down these trees, I wanted to choose a brown. And I didn't want like a chocolatey brown or anything like that because the imagery of the show is a little bit creepy and dark in the woods. And so I wanted a deeper toned, like metallic-y brown, which is what I ended up choosing. I chose Moxie's Unstoppable. I didn't want anything too bright and cheery because, like I said, the nature of what edelwood is, when you find out, it's a little bit like, ew, you don't want anything fun for that. But I did have this metallic, deeper brown that even though it is like a fun finish, it's still kind of somber in a way. And so I just decided to go straight up with the name Edelwood for this one. Really straightforward, but I think it's a really good representation of the Woodsman. The next polish I have for you is representative of the Beast. And the Beast is this kind of like shadowy, unknowable, like creepy monster, I guess, that's wandering through the woods and recruiting like lost souls, lost children, and to do his bidding. We don't really know what it is at the beginning, but you find out later on why he's recruiting these children. And the Beast is very, very reminiscent of a Wendigo. Like, he has these huge antler horns. He's super creepy. You do actually see him like one time fully. He's got these glowing white yellowish eyes. It's just spooky. Like, it's like the one thing in this whole series where I'm like, ooh, that's a little scary. And so I chose for him Cadillac's Stygian because this is a black, but it is a thermal, and so it shifts between black and gray, which I really felt helped capture that kind of shadowy element. And then it has red glitters running through it. I think that in a perfect world for me, if I wanted a polish based on the Beast, it would be this exact polish, but with like a glowy or maybe glow in the dark white-ish glitters. But I feel like even still with the reds, because the Beast is a little bit morbid when you find out more about him. I do think that this is like a perfect color for him. The next color I chose is based off of Jason Funderburker, which he's this character where it's so funny because Wirt is so intimidated by him. He's like so like nervous because he likes the same girl as Jason Funderburker. And he's like, oh, Jason Funderburker is going to get the girl. He's so cool. He's so interesting. And then the first time you see him, you're like, what? Like, because Jason Funderburker is just so like beige. He's just so bland. He's just a boring guy. And his voice is so grating. Like the girl that they both like is named Sarah, and he just comes in and he's like, hey, Sarah. Like, it's like, no, Sarah's not going for that guy Wirt. Come on. So I picked sort of like a beige nail polish to represent him. It's just a plain cream, very boring, dull beige, not without its place, but it's still just kind of like, okay, like I'd pick anything but this. Don't get me wrong, I do like this color. It's a nice color, but I'm just saying, like, when I'm looking at the full collection, it's just kind of like, okay, this one is definitely Jason Funderburker. And I decided to name it Hey Sarah, based on that iconic line. Last but not least, I chose to base a polish off of Enoch, who is the giant pumpkin-headed thing that kind of leads a weird, some people call it like the pumpkin cult or whatever. I don't think it's a cult, but it's definitely got creepy vibes when you first start watching the episode. And this is the other one that's just super on the nose. It's called Jack-O-Lantern. It's by Polish for Days, and it's like orange with like these iridescent flakies that kind of go pink and yellow, just like super fiery. And it also has some black specks in it. Perfect jack-o'-lantern type polish. And this is just like probably, I don't have a favorite episode. I like all of the episodes. I watched the whole thing in one go, like if it was a movie. But I think that this is probably like the fan favorite episode just because there's this weird, like I said, kind of pumpkin-y cult type thing. But it's actually cute at the end. It's fun. But yeah, I just feel like this is the perfect Enoch polish. So yeah, that is my would-be collection. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think this is cohesive at all. I don't think I look at this and go like, yeah, all those colors go together. But I think when you're basing something off of like individual characters, it's kind of hard to make something super cohesive because they all have their own individual personalities, you know? So that's my cop-out of the day. But yeah, this was super fun. I can't wait to see what my friend comes up with as well. And let me know if you guys are interested in doing this and making like a video, a reel, just a post on Instagram, whatever. Tag me in it because I would love to see what you guys come up with as well. Also, if you have seen Over the Garden Wall, let me know what you thought of it because it's like just all that runs through my mind during fall. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.